Good morning. On behalf of Chairwoman Vargas, we are continuing the May 14th, 2024 San Diego County Board of Supervisors special meeting for the group budget presentations, the Flood Control District meeting, In-Home Supportive Services Public Authority meeting, the Sanitation District meeting, the San Diego County Fire Protection District meeting, and the County Successor Agency meeting. As a reminder, according to the board's rules and procedures, audience members shall not whistle, clap, stomp feet, or anything that disrupts the proceedings. On behalf of Chairwoman Vargas, she would like to begin today with some introductory opening remarks, and I'll show them on the screen here and read them. Before we start today's meeting, I would like to thank everyone who stopped by our pit stop for Bike Anywhere Day in Waterfront Park. We were able to serve 85 bikers on their morning rides. I was happy to have been able to host one of Sandag's pit stops to meet these bikers and provide them with bike safety items and t-shirts. A special thank you to the Parks and Rec Department for assisting us with today's event. Happy Bike Anywhere Day. With that, we'll now call the roll. Supervisor Anderson.
Here.
Supervisor Montgomery Stepp.
Here.
Supervisor Desmond.
Here.
Vice Chair Lawson-Remer. Chairwoman Vargas. Vargas is here. The only item on the agenda for this meeting is a presentation on the Chief Administrative Officer's recommended operational plan for fiscal years 24 through 25 and 25 through 26. For the purpose of the continuation of this meeting, we'll hear the remaining budget presentations from the Land Use and Environment Group. If any of Chairwoman Vargas's colleagues have any comments or questions, those will be taken after we hear from the group and their departments. This will ensure that we get through all the presentations in a timely manner. At the close of all presentations today, we will invite the public to make their comments. We'll now hand the floor to Davia Lynch to present the Land Use and Environment Group budget presentation.
Good morning, Chairwoman Vargas and members of the board. I'm Davia Lynch, Interim General Manager for the Land Use and Environment Group, or LUGE. In addition to my remarks today, you will hear from our innovative leaders with the Office of Sustainability and Environmental Justice, or OSEJ, Planning and Development Services, Public Works, and Parks and Recreation. Although not presenting today, we are also joined by Director Miguel Acosta of County Library, Ha Dang of Agriculture Weights and Measures, and Director of Environmental Health, Heather Bonomo. LUGE is proposing an overall $796 million operational plan for fiscal year 24-25, supporting the great work of dedicated team members and countless volunteers who are making great things happen for our community. LUGE services cover a broad spectrum, including public health and safety, environmental protection, and supporting the places where you live and work. Some programs serve the entire region, like protecting food safety and agriculture, and providing library and park services. But our development, climate action, road and stormwater programs are only within the unincorporated area, which includes more than 2 million acres and has the second largest population in the region. Our departments listed here offer a wide range of community services that takes our teams to places of business, gathering spaces in the heart of a community, or even fields or job sites. Our programs are evaluated through an equity lens, focusing on underserved communities and environmental justice. As we heard from Ebony on Tuesday, we developed the budget for the enterprise by prioritizing community infrastructure, public health services, education and outreach where it is most vital. We work with the community side by side to understand their needs and improve their connection to county government. We engage the community and special interest groups in 8 languages through workshops, surveys, town halls, and our interactive engagement portals. Some of the more tangible results of this process have included library staff working with local community colleges to offer English as a second language in communities where there's a high demand for this service. We have also prioritized infrastructure investment, including roads, sidewalks, stormwater management projects in places of greater need, as identified by the Healthy Places Index. Sustainability is also woven into the very fabric of our programs. The initiatives are varied and complex, requiring a substantial investment, which is why LUGE is proposing $157 million in our total budget for climate and natural resource protection. Since starting our Climate Action Plan update in 2018, the county has invested $146 million in different programs that reduce destructive greenhouse gases. Through these programs, we have conserved land and water, promoted renewable energy, and reduced the amount of trash going into our landfills. Last year, in support of an audacious goal championed by the board, LUGE and community partners planted more than 11,000 trees region-wide, and we've increased the number of trees we are planting on county property, as you will hear from our Parks Department. LUGE team members teleworking also helped our climate goals by eliminating almost 1.4 million miles of driving and related tailpipe emissions. Protecting water, open space and habitat, farmland and wildlife are also critical to our region's resiliency. We track and stop pollution from entering storm drains to protect the ocean and groundwater. In the past 5 years, the county has committed almost $300 million to managing stormwater runoff, protecting our communities from flooding and pollution, and we've included roughly $34 million in this year's budget for this purpose. Curbing the flow of trash and bacteria from the Tijuana River is another luge focus to protect our coastal communities and beachgoers. And we will continue to lift local voices by advocating for meaningful funding and federal participation to finally fix the source of the problem. We will also continue to monitor groundwater sustainability and promote water conservation through rain barrel distribution programs. And last year, we preserved 3,000 acres of farmland and protected thousands of farms by checking agricultural shipments for crop-destroying pests. We also protect the county's most sensitive plants and animals through 3 multiple species conservation plans. To date, the county and its partners have invested $235 million to preserve and care for 46,000 acres of land. Outside of those protected lands where we live and work, we are creating plans that guide more sustainable development. Our services support quality of life in the region in many ways, with a proposed investment of $253 million. The parks and trails we manage help strengthen community connection and wellness. We operate 33 neighborhood libraries and offer thousands of enrichment programs, and we look forward to expanding these services with the construction of the new, eco-friendly Casa de Oro Library in Spring Valley. County roads and airports supported travel and tourism as well as emergency operations, and we remain firmly committed to improving housing affordability for all. Luge has spent the past year studying where developers can realistically build more homes based on existing rules and proximity to transit and what is needed to support that development in the unincorporated area. Our teams will continue to find new ways to ease the housing crisis and to ensure safe places to live and work through thousands of plan reviews and inspections. Just as community is more than its buildings, safe roadways are comprised of more than good pavement. They require support systems such as traffic signals, crosswalks, bike lanes, and guardrails. Our field crews track and improve these safety features year-round across county-maintained roads and parks. Teams also keep storm drains, culverts, and channels clear and safe in the unincorporated community. This has always been and will remain a top luge priority. Our proactive inspections and clearing of obstacles have helped prevent storm impacts, and we stand ready 24/7 during severe weather to clean up after Mother Nature. Our investment also goes towards the maintenance of library and park facilities. Our proposed budget includes $267 million for ongoing infrastructure safety, maintenance, and field personnel. We also support empowerment in its many forms. Looking ahead, our proposed budget of $47 million will help Luge continue to invest in programming that helps people connect and succeed, builds confidence and resilience, engages our non-English speaking community, and inspires civic engagement. Improving internet access can help with all of this. To help close the rural digital divide, we will leverage $9 million in ARPA federal funds to improve access that connects our residents to the online world. Our team also inspected 30,000 scales and pumps for accuracy to prevent customers from being overcharged. And we positively guided at-risk youth and helped adults achieve their educational goals through the Library High School program. Perhaps you've seen the A grade posted in a restaurant or signs at beaches about water quality. These items represent some of the important work our team members do to ensure public health and safety. Each year, we work with 15,000 food facilities to prevent foodborne illness, and our Beach and Bay program alerts beachgoers to water quality conditions along 70 miles of shoreline. And to prevent mosquito-borne illness, we treat thousands of breeding areas annually and educate the community on ways to reduce these pests around their own homes. Luge also protects people and the environment from hazardous materials through education and permitting. This year's proposed budget puts $61 million to work in programs that will continue to support these efforts, empowering the public with information to aid their health decisions and build community resilience. The proactive ongoing work of Luge team members helped protect the health and safety of the community during the unprecedented rainstorms in January. Our field crews routinely assess county-maintained drainage channels and culverts to ensure they are free of debris. During recent storms, they ensured our county roads were safe and drainage outlets were functioning properly. Our parks team prepared for storm conditions and responded to storm damage in county parks, securing sites and closing areas impacted by flooding. More luge teams helped with sandbags, removing flood-damaged debris and hazardous waste, providing health and safety information, and removing damaged vehicles. They also supported our local agricultural community by assisting with crop damage assessments. In partnership with the Office of Emergency Services, our Spring Valley Library, a trusted community hub, was set up as a local assistance center for the impacted community, which our team also staffed alongside members from throughout the county enterprise. Shifting from our programs to our proposed budget details, the total recommended budget for luge is $796 million, an increase of $121.6 million. As this slide shows, and this slide also indicates how this budget is allocated amongst our departments. 60% of the proposed increase is based on negotiated salary and benefit increases and investments in maintaining our infrastructure. And most of that is reflected in the Department of Public Works budget. The departments presenting will provide more details on their specific budget and proposed increases. This slide shows a breakdown of how luge is funded. The majority, 67% or approximately 2/3, of this funding comes from federal and state sources and fees paid by our customers. The remaining third is general purpose revenue or county funds or from other special funds. The majority of this year's proposed budget increases for luge will be covered with non-county funds. And our fiscal year 24-25 proposed operational plan was prepared with the assumption of receiving the fee increases proposed to the board earlier this month. If there are no fee increases, our department would need to request alternative county funding in the amount of $4.3 million to maintain service levels. This fiscal year, we continue to see increased costs related to things like negotiated labor agreements for wages and equity increases. These salary adjustments make team member pay more competitive, improving our retention and decreasing turnover, which strengthens our ability to serve communities. However, there is a cost to these increases that departments had to account for in this year's proposed budget, along with increases across the enterprise for things like facility management, IT, and legal services not covered by the county funding we received. To close the budget gap, we are proposing to use the strategies we applied last year, like relying on savings from vacancies and shifting projects to future years, as well as the enterprise-wide mitigation strategies of prioritizing resource needs, focusing on our core mandated services, suspending non-mandated program growth, such as additional maintenance projects. These will need investment over time to leverage prior investments and minimize risk. Maximizing use of restricted funds like those you'll hear about from our Department of Public Works, and continuing efficiencies and innovations, such as our continued expansion of online services. As new programs, board direction, and facilities come online, we will not be able to absorb these items in this budget as proposed, and new or redirected funding will be needed. We've seen 22% growth in our budget over the last 5 years, and while fiscal year 24-25 continues that growth, we know that moving forward there will be challenges in closing budget gaps with limited resources. Our growth over the last 5 years has been in core services, as well as new and expanded facilities and associated support staff. Significant additional funding for mandated stormwater programs will be needed in upcoming years, including over $400 million for pollution prevention, monitoring, and capital projects that help prevent flooding, as well as an anticipated 5-year investment of over $100 million for the Climate Action Plan if adopted by the board this fall. Our focus on providing services to the community is also reflected in our growing staff levels over the last 5 years. During that time, we've grown our team by 17%. This includes the addition of team members to support mandated regulatory programs, new board-directed activities, new and expanded parks and libraries, and the establishment of the Office of Sustainability and Environmental Justice. Our proposed group budget reflects an 18% increase and a staffing increase of 2%. Overall, the budget is increasing due to capital projects, as well as increases from negotiated salaries and benefits. Of the 44 positions being requested, 41 of those positions are funded by non-county funds, like fees or state and federal dollars, and 3 are funded with general purpose revenue for the stormwater program. Our new staff will support mandated programs, newer expanded parks and library facilities, and the stormwater program, as well as infrastructure projects and public works. For fiscal year 24-25, we continue to prioritize key services for the community, meet existing financial obligations, and perform regulatory functions while preparing for potentially difficult budget years ahead. You will hear from our departments that if county revenue or our fee-based program revenues shortfall, services beyond those required by state or federal mandates may have to be adjusted. Even so, we will remain focused on best serving the public, addressing inequities, and supporting board priorities. Chairwoman Vargas and Supervisors, our team continues to be committed to managing our resources responsibly with equity and sustainability in mind. I will now turn it over to our department leaders to share more about how their work is helping to ensure that all community members enjoy a safe and resilient place to live for generations to come. Thank you.
Good morning, Chairwoman Vargas and members of the board. I'm Eden Bruckman, Chief Sustainability Officer in the Office of Sustainability and Environmental Justice, or OSEJ. We serve as a central point for the county to advance collaborative sustainability solutions throughout the enterprise and across the region that remove systemic inequities and environmental burdens. This starts with building awareness and cultivating trust. As the team has grown this year, we've been connecting with our colleagues as well as with people and organizations that represent the region's diverse perspectives. It has been our privilege to meet them where they are, hearing and uplifting their lived and learned experiences so we can establish common ground for actions that further environmental justice. Our total recommended budget for fiscal year 24-25 is $3.8 million. With the Regional Decarbonization Framework, or RDF, as the basis for our external efforts, our office has embarked in learning journeys with residents, community-based organizations, other jurisdictions, tribal nations, and sustainability stakeholders to understand how we can best work together to reduce greenhouse gas emissions in ways that matter to them most. We co-hosted workshops for area cities and regional agencies to explore decarbonization program and policy options. And we joined with community partners to create a series of public RDF gatherings to be held in all districts this summer and fall. As the community shares their self-identified priorities through these upcoming forums, we'll be expanding the content and functionality of the existing digital story map, which is currently a compilation of state and federal indicators on climate and equity impacts such as asthma, housing lead risk, and tree canopy. New layers will be added to the map to visually represent the community-identified conditions. These can help us take a right-sized approach to problem solving and encourage interjurisdictional partnerships for shared issues that cross boundaries. Our office has also laid the groundwork for the Environmental Justice Work Group. In a few months, regular meetings will commence and the work group will start contributing to the San Diego Air Pollution Control District's Environmental Justice Partnership for Clean Air Project and other initiatives. This aligns with board direction for increased collaboration with APCD. In addition, we have helped improve community representation and climate resilience by elevating strengths, aligning interests, and linking resources. For example, with grant funding assistance, the Spring Valley Sustainable Environment and Engaged Development Strategies Project, or SEEDS, has made progress on its 5 programs, with preliminary designs already completed for a community kitchen and youth entrepreneurship educational program to bolster food security. We're working with San Diego Community Power to form the San Diego Regional Energy Network, or SDREN, which will provide energy efficiency and renewable energy programs to residents, businesses, tribal nations, and municipalities, with particular emphasis on underserved and hard-to-reach customers. With an estimated timeline to start early in 2025, SDREN will roll out 10 new programs funded by the existing Public Purchase Charge Fund, such as financial incentives, education and training, and workforce development. To build upon foundational RDF publications, we are assessing the potential for a more robust green industry in our region that offers quality green jobs. And we'll be looking at ways to optimize the use of products to increase opportunities for new markets, local jobs, and more affordable access to quality items. In our internal efforts, OSEJ is threading enterprise-wide, supporting departments and offices as they identify and implement sustainability commitments, like the Public Safety Group and its OSEJ liaison, creating employee education and events that reinforce the county mission. Together with the Office of Equity and Racial Justice, we plan to expand the themes and metrics for commitments to include environmental justice and equity too. We're creating a digital dashboard for tracking progress and sharing accomplishments. Currently, this is an internal tool under development with a goal to add a dynamic public-facing element in fall 2025. And we're making staff training modules to reinforce the county's workplace culture and values by standardizing our language and explaining the why behind the actions we take. We continue to strengthen intergovernmental tribal relationships. For example, we helped coordinate the first county-hosted Tribal Nations flag ceremony in honor of Native American Heritage Month last November. Whether it's genuine community engagement through the Environmental Justice Work Group, the special rapport with Spring Valley organizations as we pilot new partnership formats, or our ongoing collaborations throughout the enterprise and with tribal nations, the office's efforts truly exist at the intersection of all the county's strategic initiatives. Our total recommended budget includes an overall increase of $0.1 million, or 2.6%. This amount is already included in the recommended Luge Executive Office budget. Within the Land Use and Environment Group, we are internally transferring one position from OSEJ to the Luge Executive Office to provide project support. Our team is energized and dedicated to continuing this purposeful work with county departments and alongside communities and jurisdictions across our greater region. This concludes the OSEJ presentation. I'll now turn it over to Planning and Development Services.
Good morning, Chairwoman Vargas and members of the board. I'm Vince Nicoletti, Interim Director with Planning and Development Services, or PDS. I'm pleased to present a recommended operational plan and how it will help serve our communities. PDS is the community's partner when it comes to the land development process in the unincorporated area. We make sure that development follows environmental regulations to protect our land and water, and that buildings are designed to optimally withstand things like fire and earthquakes. To do this, we review plans for projects to ensure that they meet these requirements. This includes permitting services for development like housing, commercial and industrial projects, and green energy facilities. We also make sure that the community knows what development is planned so they can be involved. People aren't the only ones that we help house and protect. We're dedicated to preserving land needed to support local species. This year, our dedicated team issued over 10,000 building permits and conducted over 32,000 building inspections, making sure that buildings in the unincorporated area are built to code to be safe and protect residents. We also resolved over 2,000 code compliance cases, cleaning up solid waste and improving the quality of life in our neighborhoods. Our programs and services are evaluated through an equity lens, focusing on underserved communities and environmental justice. The budget equity tool has supported us in developing a more tailored community outreach and engagement approach to support meaningful engagement and participation. As part of these efforts, we are also making sure that we're looping back with community stakeholders to communicate how their feedback was considered in program and project development. For the upcoming fiscal year, we are prioritizing an investment of $14.5 million into protecting the climate and natural resources. Some of our major accomplishments this year include leading the climate action plan for the unincorporated area to reduce greenhouse gases, such as issuing over 5,000 renewable energy permits and making progress on the electric vehicle roadmap goals to shift to green energy. Through these actions and others, we've prevented greenhouse gas emissions equivalent to removing over 60,000 gas-powered vehicles from the road a year. We're also on track to preserve over 400 acres by purchasing voluntary agricultural easements that support the livelihood of farmers and allow wildlife to move more freely to find food and habitat. Through the development of a carbon farming program to support sustainable farming practices, we're reducing greenhouse gases and improving soil health. We're also protecting biodiversity through conservation. In the upcoming fiscal year, we're investing $12.3 million into continuing to support how people live, work, and recreate. We've permitted over 1,000 new homes and are on track with all Year 1 activities as part of last year's board direction for removing barriers to housing. Actions such as guaranteed plan review times and support for permit applicants save time and increase certainty for housing. While our building permit review times have been cut in half since last year, we're continuing to invest in improvements. PDS is guiding sustainable land use planning and encourage housing development in locations with less environmental impact near urban areas and transit centers, while ensuring that established communities remain thriving and resilient. We're also making it easier for small wineries to start up more quickly by changing regulations to allow more development by right. PDS is protecting quality of life and safety by updating wildland fire protection guidelines to mitigate impacts from wildfires for new development. We're promoting sustainability in our departmental operations, like consolidating our office space and expanding teleworking to reduce our department's environmental footprint. And we're educating all new employees on incorporating sustainability into daily operations, like signing documents online rather than using paper resources, and collecting staff's feedback via virtual suggestion boxes, and how we can do more to support sustainability in our operations. To increase housing for all, our department is continuing to identify ways to facilitate affordable housing, such as through our draft inclusionary housing ordinance that will be presented to the board later this year, as well as implementing several new state laws that allow for more housing by right. PDS incorporates equity into program design and service delivery to increase opportunities and support for underserved communities. For example, a new program removes graffiti at no cost to property owners, reducing blight and gang presence. We send project notices in threshold languages and offer live interpretation services at community meetings to support equitable opportunities for community engagement and participation. We're continuing efforts to empower our workforce through training and team building, such as quarterly department meetings, to enhance customer service and effectiveness of our programs and services. To better serve our community, the department trains staff on justice, equity, diversity, inclusion, and belonging, and encourages involvement in related employee-led committees. We're also conducting peer-led focus groups to identify actions to enhance employee engagement. To support the community, PDS continues evolving our core function of reviewing and inspecting privately initiated land development projects to ensure healthy, safe, and sustainable design and construction. We'll continue to make our public meetings and hearings accessible for everyone, like continuing to hold Planning Commission meetings in a hybrid format and advertising upcoming hearings in multilingual publications to allow equitable access to the decision-making process by our diverse stakeholders. We're also continuing to focus on community outreach and engagement opportunities and meeting communities in ways that work for them. PDS is promoting environmental justice in collaboration with the Office of Sustainability and Environmental Justice through expanding services and programs and building relationships and trust with communities that have been disproportionately impacted. We're also collaborating with the Office of Equity and Racial Justice on the development of a socially equitable cannabis program to facilitate equity for those who have been adversely impacted by cannabis criminalization. The proposed PDS budget is projected to be funded by approximately 54% county funds and 46% revenue offset sources like fees and grants. To support all of these efforts, we are recommending a department budget of $58 million, a decrease of $1.3 million due to completion of one-time projects. In the process of constructing our budget, we actively sought ways to address funding gaps for our ongoing operations and mandated services. We allocated funds for our core services, ensuring safe, sustainable development for quality of life. Due to limited enterprise-wide resources, PDS has covered a number of cost increases without additional general purpose revenue for county initiatives and costs next year, at a cost of approximately $9.4 million, almost 15% of our total budget. This was for things like negotiated salary and benefit increases and county costs. These cost increases will not be possible to absorb in future years. To solve future gaps, we would need additional county funds. If we have constrained resources, we will need to focus on state-mandated key services, which would result in decreases to discretionary activities, like the level of customer service we're currently providing. If we receive new board direction, we cannot absorb new projects or programs within our current general funds. We would require resources for new or expanded directives. We've also received bridge funding for liability costs that are not passed on to developers for legal settlements. We'll continue to monitor our general fund services. If funding is not sustained or is reduced, we may move to a complaint-based code compliance system and reduce proactive outreach and education with communities. We based our proposed staffing requests on getting back to our goal plan review timeframes, especially for building permits, and supporting implementation licensing component of the cannabis program. These new positions will be funded by program revenue. PDS continues to focus on filling vacancies to bring teams to full capacity. While we have hard to recruit positions, we continue to work on efforts to increase retention and recruitment of our team members. We're also proposing to use almost $15 million in one-time county funds for our housing and sustainability efforts, including general plan updates, board directives, and actions to further implement the CAP measures. The proposed budget has an increase of 4 new staff who will be funded through program fees. All other changes in staff reflect internal transfers amongst divisions to meet operational needs. This past year, we've made significant strides in improving permit processing times, with building permit review times cut in half from this time last year. I cannot thank the team at Planning and Development Services enough, who is dedicated to providing quality services to the community. Thank you for the opportunity to share our proposed budget, and we'll now turn it over to the Department of Public Works.
Good morning, Chairwoman Vargas and members of the board. I'm Rich Whipple, Deputy Director for the Department of Public Works, or DPW. Today, I'm pleased to present a recommended operational plan. As the local public works agency serving more than 500,000 unincorporated residents, we are committed to balancing safety with environmental protection to support the daily lives of our community members. DPW maintains roads, provides safe and reliable infrastructure, and operates county airports. We manage special districts for wastewater, drinking water, flood control, and private road maintenance. And we are proud sustainability leaders with programs to reduce water pollution, divert waste from landfills, and encourage walking and biking. Every day, DPW serves a broad range of stakeholders. We maintain a system of nearly 2,000 miles of county roads used every day by residents and visitors. We operate 8 local airports in both cities and unincorporated areas. We maintain 454 miles of sewer and water pipelines that provide wastewater services to 37,000 customers. We manage 21 closed landfill sites to protect the public health and the environment, and we deliver a broad range of infrastructure through our capital improvement program. We also assist in reviewing private development projects to ensure appropriate standards are met and quality infrastructure is delivered. Our programs are evaluated through an equity lens, and in developing our budget, we use the Budget Equity Assessment Tool to help prioritize resources in underserved communities. We expanded our outreach and community engagement by regularly meeting with industry, environmental, labor, and community groups to get their perspectives on needs and priorities. Expanding engagement in multiple languages remains a top priority and guides our investments in outreach. We leverage technology by introducing a new website, a mapping tool, and held a series of community meetings for our 5-year capital improvement plan, enhancing communication and uplifting community voices. Infrastructure projects are prioritized across a range of factors, including consideration for underserved communities' needs. In the case of stormwater projects, for example, reducing pollution can be paired with co-benefits such as sidewalks, bike lanes, and additional green space, depending on site characteristics and community needs. We are proud of what we've achieved this year. Core to our mission of improving safety and maintaining existing infrastructure, this year we completed over 30 capital projects valued at $100 million that enhance safety for roads, drainage, flood control, and more. Our crews kept road infrastructure safe for the public by providing 24/7 response efforts during extreme weather events, including Tropical Storm Hillary and the devastating rains of January and February this year. Our budget next year includes $232 million for continued investment in infrastructure safety, including ongoing operations, capital projects that promote safety for our roads, drainage, and private development. This year, we improved over 80 miles of roads and maintained the average pavement condition index, or PCI, at 68. PCI is a rating system that indicates road conditions. Next year's budget includes $65.6 million for road resurfacing, allowing us to reach 69 by next year, working towards our goal of 70, which is considered a very good condition by 2026. With $148 million in our proposed budget, we will maintain and ensure safe and continuous operations of our sewer system, water districts, and airports, and support how our communities live, work, and recreate. In addition to investing in core infrastructure, we are dedicated to protecting the environment and natural resources with $95.3 million in the upcoming budget. Over the last 7 years, we have invested $87.5 million in green infrastructure to protect water quality through the management of stormwater runoff. And in this year's budget, we are allocating $67 million to prevent pollution from reaching the ocean through green infrastructure projects. We are redirecting unused edible food from grocery stores or restaurants to people in need and moving inedible food to composting for reuse. This helps extend the life of our existing landfills and reduces greenhouse gas emissions. We also kept over 400,000 pounds of household hazardous waste out of landfills this year, which is enough to completely fill a large high school gymnasium. We are committed to protecting natural resources in the environment, reducing greenhouse gas emissions, and minimizing our carbon footprint. We address the impact of stormwater pollution on local waters through public education, rebates, inspections, and green infrastructure that is designed to reduce and absorb runoff and filter contaminants. Our recently completed Maple View Street biofiltration and channel restoration project received a National Engineering Award. We are collaborating with the disposal industry haulers and community partners to expand outreach, education, and recycling programs critical to meeting the county's waste diversion goals of 75% by 2025 and 80% by 2030. To reduce greenhouse gas emissions, we are constructing new bike lanes and sidewalks on county-maintained roads to support walkable and bikeable communities. We are committed to advancing equity as we prioritize and develop projects to ensure that all voices are heard and needs considered. We are adding ADA-compliant crosswalk push buttons at 25 intersections and adjusting traffic signal timing to move people of all abilities through intersections more safely. We use data to help prioritize road safety improvement projects, reduce sidewalk deficits, and add pollution-reducing stormwater treatment features. We do this by considering technical merits, safety, liability, regulatory compliance, and underserved community needs. This process involves public outreach through workshops and meetings, which allows those without internet access or who need language interpretation to participate in a dialogue about their infrastructure needs and priorities. DPW recently started a community waste and recycling collection program to provide greater access to services, encourage recycling, help curb illegal dumping, and reduce trash in local waters. Of the 6 events to be held each year, we are prioritizing underserved communities where trash is the water pollutant of greatest concern. We remain committed to attracting and retaining the best talent for DPW. We are empowering our workforce by expanding opportunities to communicate openly through focus groups and prioritizing training focused on inclusion and belonging. By fostering a positive and inclusive workforce culture, we can better serve our community. We are strengthening our connection with the communities we serve through digital resources. We are improving the transparency and readability of our public-facing website and making Tell Us Now application, which is available in English and Spanish, easier to use and track public requests. The community can also connect with us through online, telephone, and in-person service requests or by participating in planning group meetings. We value engagement and regularly meet with communities across our region using multiple platforms and translation services to ensure our services meet the community's needs. We leverage technology to promote safety and improve the quality of life for residents. As an example, we plan to install 2 new smart covers, adding to the 72 that already exist in our sewer system, to provide advanced warning to prevent sewer overflows. And we will continue to repost National Weather Service warnings that are accessible to social media users in their chosen language. We will also continue to support regional partnerships through coordination with utility companies, regional stormwater and solid waste committees, and the Building Better Roads Working Group, among others. We continue to partner with the OSEJ to increase meaningful community involvement among people disproportionately impacted by systemic and environmental burdens. And we are partnering with other county departments and external agencies to address cross-border pollution in the Tijuana River Valley to ensure progress is made on this critical issue, which the Board of Supervisors has declared as a local emergency. Our proposed budget for next fiscal year is almost $481 million. 73% of our revenue, or $351 million, comes from a variety of revenue sources with restricted uses, such as gas tax, grants, and Transnet, which is a local sales tax for transportation projects. 17%, or $80 million, is from County General Fund. Other revenue sources include almost $50 million from fees and leases, such as airport leases. In building our budget, we look for opportunities to resolve funding gaps related to rising costs for ongoing operations and maintenance, mandated in core services and capital improvements. We focused on our core services and prioritized funding to address our most critical infrastructure needs. We included anticipated savings from current staff vacancies and shifted projects to future years. We are leveraging special revenue funds, rebudgeting for projects that had delays, and budgeting continuing programs from one-time funds to general fund. If costs continue to increase, we anticipate challenges in service delivery, particularly in implementing green infrastructure projects at the necessary scale and schedule to meet mandated compliance. We also anticipate receiving our new state stormwater permit in 2025, which is expected to increase regulation and associated compliance costs. We are proposing an increase of 32 staff positions next year to help deliver capital projects, conduct major maintenance, comply with state stormwater mandates, divert waste, and support airport operations. Of the new positions being added, 29 are funded with program revenue. The general purpose revenue positions are to support the stormwater program and managing capital projects. Without these general fund positions, we would see a delay in delivering these projects and in meeting state stormwater mandates. Our proposed general fund budget to support critical programs for stormwater, private development inspection, closed landfills, and cleaning and sanitizing encampments on county property is $94.2 million, a $70 million increase from last year. The increase is due to new staff to support stormwater compliance, one-time funding for green infrastructure projects, and the transfer of our closed landfill program to our general fund. This program has historically been funded with one-time resources, but will now be funded with ongoing general purpose revenue. This table summarizes proposed expenditures for programs that do not rely on county funds. These programs represent more than 80% of the DPW budget. The first row shows our road program, which is the largest budget in DPW at $260 million, a $45 million increase compared to last year. This funding will support road operations, capital projects, and our road resurfacing program. We are leveraging $36 million in fund balance for road resurfacing, culvert maintenance, traffic signal improvements, and ongoing capital projects. The remaining road fund balance is earmarked for 60-day working capital and future year projects under development. The second row shows the solid waste management program, which is an almost $7 million budget, a 58% decrease. This decrease is due to the transfer of the closed landfills program to our general fund, as mentioned on the previous slide. The remaining programs are proposing increased budgets due to negotiated salaries and benefit increases, increases to new staff, and one-time projects. We appreciate the opportunity to present and thank our dedicated employees who made these services possible. I'll now turn it over to the Department of Parks and Recreation.
Mike's not.
Good morning, Chairwoman Vargas and members of the board. I am Renee Hilton, the Assistant Director of Parks and Recreation, or DPR. Thank you for the opportunity to present an overview of our recommended operational plan. Our vision is a parks and recreation system that is the pride of San Diego County. With our over 400 employees and hundreds more volunteers, our team works hard to provide world-class experiences for our customers. We conserve our region's natural resources and biodiversity. We create places for communities to connect and stay healthy. The county park system features 157 parks and facilities, 389 miles of trails, and over 58,000 acres of parkland. We provide programs that are accessible to people of all levels and abilities across generations. For some perspective on the size of the county parks network, it is larger than 17 of the 18 cities in San Diego County. We have a variety of facilities from local and regional parks to open space preserves and sports facilities. We offer programs or facilities in all of the county cities as well as the unincorporated area. And we remain committed to identifying and addressing underserved areas throughout the county. In addition to using the budget equity tool to help prioritize resources, we use a capital investment model and community needs assessment to rank funding requests for park improvement projects in places lacking park services, amenities, and recreational opportunities. We have expanded our public engagement opportunities through a variety of formats, including website, social media, survey, and public meetings. And information is offered in all threshold languages. We currently manage a capital project portfolio valued at $289 million that are in different phases of design, engineering, and construction. For fiscal year 24-25, there are 9 projects totaling $27.4 million to be funded through the CENA. Thanks in part to our conservation program, our county continues to be one of North America's top biodiversity models. We monitor wildlife and steward resources at our preserves covering over 50,000 acres of habitat, including over 800 acres added this year. Our acquisition strategy will continue to align with our sustainability goals that support efforts to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and protect water quality, in addition to habitat preservation. Several protected species are enjoying great success and an increase in numbers due to our management. As an example, this year we completed a 90-acre restoration plan to eradicate invasive plants in the Kumeyaay Valley County Park in the San Diego River watershed. We also secured $2.6 million in grant funding for habitat restoration projects. This includes habitat restoration and wildlife activities in the Tijuana River Valley, Sycamore Canyon Preserve, and Dictionary Hill. And we planted over 5,000 trees on county lands and coordinated with other agencies to plant over 11,000 trees throughout the county in 2023. Our team empowers the community every day in all of our parks and recreation programs. Our $3 million investment complements a wide range of ways we already empower the community. We continue to offer our Experience the Outdoor initiative, which is a series of programs designed to eliminate barriers that keep people from engaging in recreational activities. We had over 90 groups participate in our first-time camping program. Visitation at regional parks increased by 12%, and 20 no-cost field trips helped youth from underserved communities enjoy hiking, camping, and mountain biking interpretation programs. Our Safe Destination, or SD Nights program, hosted 340 events that benefited thousands more youth in fiscal year 23-24. 16,000 participants are anticipated for 23-24. Funding in 24-25 will help us continue great opportunities like this and more. Our proposed operational plan aligns with each of the county's initiatives, including sustainability. DPR is working with OSEJ to continue the implementation of the departmental sustainability plan goals, including the conversion of gas-powered tools, fleet, and EV charging stations. Overall, our proposed budget includes $18 million invested in conservation programs, including the Multiple Species Conservation Program and our Regional Tree Canopy Program. We continue to work with local, state, and federal partners to implement projects and programs to address cross-border sewage flows that enter the Tijuana River Valley from Mexico. We have over $25 million of federal, state, and county funds invested so far and advocating for additional funds from federal and state sources. Projects include dredging for accumulated trash and debris, restoration efforts, stormwater quality improvements, and new infrastructure to improve hydrology. To promote equitable park access throughout the region, we plan to open 3 new facilities next year that will provide new recreation amenities and trails in Fallbrook, Ramona, and Spring Valley. In addition, we will continue programming and services to underserved areas through the Experience the Outdoors program that includes our first-time camping program, Women in the Wild, Ride On Mountain Biking Challenge, and RAD Regional Parks. The food production program is a partnership with multiple county departments and various nonprofits designed to make food access more equitable across San Diego. This is done through community gardens, free cooking classes, food distribution events, and related programs. Additional gardens are planned at Collier and Calavo County parks, which are funded by ARPA dollars. Both parks and libraries work with community partners to distribute free meals during the weekdays. Our dedicated staff is truly the first line with our customers, and we rely on their insights in the community to help us shape the programs and facilities that our customers experience and desire. We continue to enhance our employee engagement and work with our staff to ensure that they have the right training and tools to do their jobs well and best serve the community. Parks help create community, and we will continue to invest in our communities by providing a robust slate of volunteer opportunities so people can give back and meet other people committed to improving their neighborhoods. For many adult caregivers and kids, the best place for a community to come together is on the playground, and we'll complete 3 new playgrounds and upgrades to 13 existing playgrounds throughout the county. One of the ways that DPR promotes justice is by providing meaningful public engagement and ensuring equal access to our decision-making process. We plan to create positions on our existing advisory boards for youth participants and will expand our Ranger Mentor program. SD Nights provides a valuable service for youth in 25 communities across the county by providing a safe and positive environment to gather and grow in their neighborhood. The program introduces them to people and activities that broaden their opportunities as they grow into young adults. We will continue to work with members of the community living across the socioeconomic spectrum to enhance open space through volunteer projects like tree plantings and park service days. From this graphic, you will see that 63% of our budget is from general purpose revenue. 21%, or $16 million, is comprised of various revenue sources with restricted use, such as special districts, special revenue funds, or grant funding that supports specific projects throughout our park system. Other revenue sources include 16%, or $12 million, in fees, such as camping or day use fees, a vital revenue source for our operations. When building our budget, we focused on core services. Our boots on the ground serving our customers remains our biggest priority. We are stretching our resources to minimize the number of new position requests for the next year. This will mean managing our service standards and partnering where we can to supplement services. While our park system will continue to grow, this coming year it will be at a slower pace with less funding coming into our capital program. Our main focus will be on our existing infrastructure, serving our customers, and implementing priority programs. However, with limited funding for major maintenance, we will be suspending some projects to later years and focusing on those highest priority infrastructure projects. We put into place several mitigations to manage our budget this year and our proposed budget for 24-25. With limited general purpose revenue increases for ongoing and one-time only items, we delayed filling some vacant positions this year and are budgeting a higher vacancy rate to manage our budget next year to pay for current costs. We also reduced our as-needed consulting services to stay within our budget allotment. We are deferring additional general fund staffing requests, suspending one-time projects, and additional investments in major maintenance. We continue to evaluate our cost recovery for services and will make fee adjustments within our approved ranges as necessary for individual services such as camping or event reservations. In preparing our reservations, we looked at every opportunity to keep our expenses flat where possible. And we continue to look at operational efficiencies to stretch our dollars and make things easier for our customers. Even with the mitigations in place, we do see an increase in our budget funded by program revenue, an increase of 5 new positions funded by park program revenues in MSCP and Community Facilities District funding. Our new positions will support the ongoing maintenance and operations of the preserve management in Julian Mountains and North County Patrol and the new Willow Grove Community Facilities District, along with staff to support the MSCP. This snapshot of our staffing and general fund budget shows the vast majority of our investment is for park operations, providing services directly to residents and visitors. Our other divisions support these field operations through construction design and oversight, environmental services, fiscal and administrative support. Because we have expanded our park system substantially in recent years, it could be a challenge to maintain our current standards of maintenance and service levels within our limited GPR funding for next fiscal year. We will work hard to manage expectations around our service standards and provide opportunities for community organizations to partner with us to keep our facilities at a high level. As new and expanded park facilities and programs come online, we cannot absorb the resources needed. We will have resource requests for new future park facilities, expanded facilities, as well as new board-directed programs. Without these resource requests in future years, we cannot operate the new facilities or expanded facilities with our current staff and service levels our communities have come to expect from us. DPR's budget also includes special funding districts. Overall, our non-general fund budget is increasing by $0.6 million. This is driven by slight increases in staffing and service and supply costs. Our volunteers and team members are the heart and soul of our parks and recreation programs. Without them, we could not offer all of the beautiful parks and programs for the community.
Thank you, and thank you to our community and dedicated team that's at the center of all that we do. Our goal is that our proposed budget today reflects that. We are available to answer any questions that the board may have. Thank you.
Thank you. On behalf of Chairwoman Vargas, we'll turn it to the supervisors for questions, starting with Supervisor Desmond.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity, and thanks for the presentation. I always enjoy hearing about public works and parks and everything else. You're the fun department, but sorry to the others. On page 15, slide 15, there's a big chunk there of suspended requests, 36.2 million. So you've got, I didn't quite catch the examples. What are some of the bigger ones that are suspended for not that are part of that 36.2?
Thank you, Supervisor Desmond, through the chair. Like all of the departments across the enterprise, we did have more asks than we put on the table today, given our prioritization strategy and the constrained funding that we have. So some of the bigger ones for us were capital investments, even though we saw a substantial investment this year in capital, quite an $85 million increase from what we've had in the past. We also had some program expansion that we'd like to see. For example, in our burn site program, we constrained that. We did invest in Ramona Burn Site, for example, but there is ongoing need in that area. So those are some of the primary areas, as well as additional support services for things like.
So am I hearing you say burn sites are being not taken care of?
They're managed effectively, let me be clear on that. But
Okay.
over the long term, these are the types of sites that we need to reinvest in, clean up fully. So they're contained, but there is a long-term strategy of fully cleaning those up and restoring those locations.
All right, fire season's around the corner here, but, okay. All right, well, thank you, I appreciate that. Unfortunately, we have to suspend things, we don't have money for everything, and I understand the scene and all the other capital and projects that are out there, and we all want more. So thank you very much for the presentation.
Supervisor Montgomery Stepp.
Thank you so much to the entire Luge team for the presentation. And also, I just want to thank all of county staff, particularly Luge, HHSA, the Public Safety Group, for all of the collaboration around the flood recovery work. I don't even think that we've done quite a full estimate of how much that we've put into from each department, each division, and each group. So thank you. I'll start with that. I want to go to Park and Rec quickly and just piggyback off of Supervisor Desmond's comments. This is more around maintenance. You mentioned it in the report as a part of a mitigation factor. I just want to dive a little bit deeper into that because as the Parkland Acres owned increases, we are facing some maintenance issues. Are there any other creative things that we are doing to try to mitigate that? Maintenance partnerships, anything like that moving forward? Certainly, folks are looking forward to some of the parks and things that are online, but without maintenance is very, very hard to upkeep. As you know, I'm preaching to the choir. So, any alternatives or creative things we're doing?
Thank you, Supervisor Montgomery Stepp. Our staff works very hard to ensure that the maintenance standards and service standards are upheld at the highest level. We do partner with volunteer groups, nonprofits, a variety of community groups to ensure that we can come together and do the work to make sure that our parks and our neighborhoods are upkept to a great level. We'll continue to do that.
Okay, thank you very much. Just PDS, sorry. Just a question about removing barriers, the Removing Barriers program. In the budget, there was one amount that was dedicated to the program. It's kind of broken down differently through the different departments. So which categories are reflected there? How is your department reflected in the Removing Barriers program, and what is the full cost?
Through the chair, supervisor, in next year's budget, we have roughly $6 million budgeted for the Removing Barriers to Housing initiatives to complete those projects. They're primarily in our permit services for discretionary permits, building permits, those categories, as well as long-range planning efforts. And these are things like ordinance changes to allow more housing by right and to help identify places where we want to see housing in more urban areas close to transit.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that clarification. That is all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now proceed with individuals that requested to speak on the group budget presentations over the 2 days. Chairwoman Vargas, we have 27 requests to speak, 5 in person and 22 requesting to speak by phone. For any individuals that requested to speak by phone, please dial into the conference line using the instructions that were provided to you. We'll begin with the in-person speakers. I'll note that all speakers are in opposition. As your name is called, please come forward and stand against the east wall under the murals until it is your turn to speak. You'll have 2 minutes to address the board, and I'll ask you to please begin by stating your name for the audio record. I'd like to invite forward Michael Brando, Gambler, Marissa Ugali, Gilberto Luna, and Robert Gurman. I've called your name. Please come forward. You're welcome to come forward in any order.
That's for the board. Okay. Robert Gurman, L-U-E-G. Have a slideshow, I think. I should? Okay. Okay, here we go. 2.9 million for 3 airports in District 2. One airport has been closed for 10 years because of fatalities, a fatality. Cindy Chavez is being retaliated against by denying her the CAO job she directly had because she is a whistleblower. Cindy filed and won a safety complaint encompassing environmental justice, environmental safety over Santa Clara Airport system. The whistleblower complaint exposed of how the aviation system works when it was poisoning her district families with leaded avgas. Cindy and the board of Santa Clara board investigated and then acted. Cindy and the Santa Clara board banned the sale of leaded avgas over the threats of the FAA, local and national pilot associations. The pressure was intense, threatening her political career, but she knew what she had to do and she did it. Cindy's expertise in aviation, social, and environmental justice is exactly what San Diego needs to help administer our 16 airports and help with running our county. Now she has a duty to protect herself and other whistleblowers. Good luck, Santa Clara Supervisor Cindy Chavez. And I got 29 seconds. This union and all of her qualifications is nothing but a smokescreen to muddy up the waters. The true reason is that she is being retaliated because she impacted general aviation across the nation. The FAA reauthorization bill right now pending in Congress has a clause in it to make leaded gas mandated.
Thank you. Time is up. Next speaker, please.
Michael, I'm going to address some omissions. I wasn't going to even speak because, the issue is not really so much the people that are here in this room. And where is Tara? I didn't hear an announcement about her. She's not here. She hasn't been here at all today. Interesting. I wasn't going to even speak because the issue isn't really about the people here on the dais or the people making presentations. The issue is people in general don't even care about what's going on in their own area. Most people don't even know you people exist, nor do they care. So you get to do what you want with the $8.4 billion. And while Monica's talking and not listening to me right now, I want to talk about an omission from HHS, okay? I've talked about this. More and more is coming out about the damage, people that have either been killed or suffering from effects of the bioweapon serum injections that have been promoted by this organization. Even Andrew Cuomo has been talking about that. That's not going to go away, and it's not going to be able to be swept under the carpet. Again, I recommend this book, The Final Pandemic, An Antidote to Medical Tyranny, because it addresses the things that this board is not talking about. Also, Davia, this was not mentioned about the role of animal services. When are we going to find out about what's been investigated for over a year involving the Netwigs, Craig Netwig, Pure Water Initiative, the horses that are dying? That wasn't discussed in the safety of the animals. Yet we hear about safety all the time. Think about this. Find your conscience. Up level. Thank you.
Next speaker, please.
Hello, my name is Marisa Ugarte, and I run Bilateral Safety Corridor Coalition, which is a human trafficking agency. I come here to make you think about the consequences of cutting the budget of the district attorney. We have close ties with one safe place in San Marcos that will be greatly damaged. We work with them in the new formed labor trafficking fraud division of the district attorney. We have cases there. If all these things happen and they are cuts, the mitigating circumstances of protecting my victims, protecting those on sexual assault, protecting other people of that is really important. I came here to advocate for you to consider what can happen when these things are cut off with the 18 million cut of the budget. I came here on my own to let you know that all of us that work on preventing human trafficking and violent crime are very worried, and that my county board supervisors also needs to consider all the things that are going on with labor trafficking right here and how that is happening as we speak. Please consider that, and thank you so much for listening to me. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you. I'd also like to invite forward Robert Brown.
Good morning. Thank you all very much I'm very grateful to you for allowing me to speak before you today. I know most of you, and I've worked with you on certain programs.
Can you please state your name?
First, my name, I'm so nervous, man. My name is Dr. Robert Brown, and I'm on the board of the Urban League, and I do quite a few other things around the county to volunteer on behalf of those who are marginalized or deprived, and those that work with cross-cultural communities. I'm here to ask that you please do not cut the district attorney's budget, and here's why. There's a lot of diversionary programs that she's running. She's doing a lot of things with youth. The lady just spoke about One Safe Place. If you visit that place and talk to the people that use it and the victims who have to go there for help, you'll understand what I'm talking about. You all understand the drug problems that we're having today, the drug prevention, the intervention programs for the youth. The youth are counting on you. We know we have problems in other areas, but we need to be adding more resources to the DA's office. So I'm pleading with you to please consider that when you go through your cuts. And again, I want to thank you for all the hard work that you all do, and I appreciate all of you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Gambler here. Now, I've stay on one issue 99% of the time, but this time I want to go ahead and talk about what you guys have done for the county. And in all these wonderful programs, focusing their attention on the lesser people, like you guys want to go ahead and try to mention, or whatever you want to consider, however you figure these areas out that you flood out intentionally. Because there are departments here designed to make sure that that shit does not happen. Matter of fact, we make it a goal so that these areas don't happen too. But when it does happen, then we beg for more money because we didn't have enough. Where did that money go? We spent an ungodly amount of money. People lost their houses, their livelihood, everything. And now you guys are bitching and complaining because they want to cut a few bucks. What? You were useful pawns. That's all you are, each and every single one of you. So when shit hits the fan, they're going to throw you to the wolves for your decisions, because these are your decisions. It's not the county decisions. It's not that. It is the county people I used to work for 20 years. For 20 years. I am so fucking disgusted. It's not even funny. Looking at the people I used to work with for 20 years. To what? Turn their back on the people? Oh, please give me more money so I could go ahead and fuck up more people's lives. Oh, please. And then the one department that is trying to help and trying to prevent some of this shit, you cut the most. What kind of shit is that? You guys should be disgusted with yourselves. I will be talking to you, especially you, later, based off of
Next speaker,
that lost their houses.
Next speaker, please.
Good morning. My name is Gilberto Luna. I'm the Deputy Consul General at the Mexican Consulate here in San Diego. I'm here on behalf of our Consul General, Ambassador Alicia Kerber, to tell you that our consulate has a very good working relationship with the DA's office and has had it for many years. But in the past couple of years, we have intensified our collaboration with the DA's office through the Family Justice Center, an institution that has become an essential resource for the members of our community who have experienced family violence, elder abuse, child abuse, hate crimes, and human trafficking. One Safe Place, as it is aptly called, is a very effective referral call for the consulate, connecting victims of those crimes with critical resources such as legal aid, counseling, shelter, and healthcare. One Safe Place offers services in Spanish and has staff members who understand the cultural nuances and the unique needs of the Spanish-speaking victims, helping them to understand their basic rights and to navigate the legal system. In collaboration with the Mexican Consulate, One Safe Place offers regular educational workshops and outreach programs to our community to raise awareness about domestic violence and other forms of abuse, destigmatizing the issue and promoting avenues for support for the Mexican and the Latino community here in San Diego. For those reasons, the Mexican Consulate hopes that the DA's office and particularly the Family Justice Center will continue to have enough resources to be able to partner with us to tackle those issues. And we thank the honorable members of this board for allowing us to speak this morning. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now hear from the individuals that requested to speak by phone. When it is your turn to speak, you will be unmuted and you will hear a recording that will tell you to begin your comments after the beep. I'll remind the callers they should mute their TV or live video stream before they begin speaking. We'll start with our first caller.
Good morning. My name is Linda Kolker. I am a grieving mother. I assist the District Attorney's Office educate the San Diego community on the deadly effects of fentanyl poisoning. Your number one responsibility as elected county supervisors is to protect the citizens of San Diego County. Cutting $18 million in funding to the DA's office will cause deadly and devastating consequences. With the illicit drugs and fentanyl coming from Mexico through our borders every day, it is imperative that the DA's office continues to receive the funding it needs to stop and prosecute these crimes. Cutting this funding only sends the message that it will be easier, not more difficult, to poison our fellow citizens. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Now hear from the next caller.
Hi, this is Casey Gwynn. I'm the president of Alliance for Hope International in San Diego, and I'm calling in to oppose the budget cut proposed by the CAO's office to the district attorney's office. Right now, this Board of Supervisors and the district attorney are leading the nation in creating a collaborative model to address victims of domestic violence, sexual assault, human trafficking, child abuse. We are talking about you all over the country. Supervisor Desmond's support in North County for the One Safe Place Center is changing the world, and you're reducing homicides. Don't back away from that commitment, please, even as you're going to South Bay with Supervisor Vargas to start a center there, and then to East County with the support of Supervisor Anderson. Don't step back. One domestic violence homicide costs about $18 million a year. To cut the DA's budget $18 million and then see homicides go up again as we're watching them go down, please don't do it. We urge you to fully fund the DA's office. Thank you.
Thank you. Now hear from the next caller.
Good morning, Board of Supervisors. My name is DeAndre Brook, and I am the chair of the San Diego Commission on Gang Prevention and Intervention. Over the last couple of months, I've been working with Summer Stephan to implement a program for transitional age youth so they could be diverted from the prison system. It would be something called like from court to college, giving the kids opportunities or the youth opportunities to do something better with their lives. Kind of like back in the days, used to have an opportunity to go into the military instead of prison. So that's a program that we definitely want to see happen, and I would appreciate if you guys would reconsider allocating some more of that funding to her office for that. Thank you very much, and congratulations on your appointment, Monica.
Thank you. Now hear from the next caller.
Good morning, Board of Supervisors, Chair Nora Vargas. My name is Terry Ann Skelly. I'm a parent of 3 adult sons, and I've worked on behalf of young adults to safeguard their passage to productive adulthood. Thank you for the wealth of information provided in the Health and Human Service budget. The support needed and provided to youth and their families in our county was clear. I am struck by the role on mental health issues that weave through so many of the expenditures. There is a recent National Institute on Drug Abuse research recorded in the Journal of Psychological Medicine regarding marijuana addiction and its association to the development of anxiety, depression, suicidal ideation, and psychiatric disorders. This study of nearly 7 million people ages 16 to 49 found the association was stronger for males overall, and especially at the ages of 16 to 25-year-olds. The cost to young adults, their families, and to this county are enormous. Researchers affirm that today's cannabis products are so extremely potent and so different from yesterday's pot that they should have a whole different name. These highly concentrated THC marijuana products are essentially new drugs and profoundly affect our citizens' mental health and daily functioning. These products should not be sold as part of the county's retail environment. Thank you for hearing my concerns this morning.
Thank you. Now hear from the next caller.
Hey, it's Jim. I'm looking at the budgeting process. It is apparent that this entire system has got to be changed. If I had to explain it to a child, I describe it this way. Okay, all the 3 million people in San Diego County must take a part of their income, and because of a threat of being put in a jail cell, give it to these 5 strangers who may or may not be very smart or aware. They get to spend it in a way that makes them feel good about themselves. They spend it even if, in the past, they spent it in dumb ways, such as giving it away to their friends, pay for their own bodyguards, get to spend it solving real problems, like stopping waters from flooding into people's houses. These 5 strangers vote among themselves so that at least 3 of them can now say how the money is spent for the 3 million of us. Now, the people who gave them the money can show up every other week and beg for some of it back, in which case they will on most occasions be ignored and belittled, which will include one Joel Anderson flipping through his phone or stuffing his face with food. That is, if any of the 5 haven't come up with an excuse not to be there. Now, if the leader of the 5 doesn't particularly like specific people who show up to address their concerns, like Bad Man Nathan with Audra or Hyper Nora with Consuelo, then the leader can target them to give them 3 fake warnings before having the people with guns force them to leave. If small and female enough, one of the big guys with a gun can pull his full weight onto the girl's back, hurting her. When the spending of the people's money fails, the 5 don't leave humbly or respectfully, but demand more money from the people. All right, this entire scenario must be fixed. This is ludicrous. This is insanity. This is this.
Thank you. Now hear from the next caller.
Good morning. My name is Elizabeth Morano. I'm a case manager with the National Conflict Resolution Center and the District Attorney's Juvenile Diversion Initiative. The proposed cut in the District Attorney's budget is one of great concern because of the critical role the agency plays in ensuring the region's public safety. I am most familiar with the agency's effort in juvenile diversion. The DA's office is spearheading a groundbreaking, innovative approach to keep youth out of the criminal justice system and out of the school-to-prison pipeline. The agency's decision to this effort has led to hundreds of the region's youth being diverted from the criminal justice system with a significant reduction in recidivism rates. The DA's office needs additional resources to serve our community with these innovative programs. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Now hear from the next caller.
Hi. Good morning, Supervisors. All about capital project has a 48% decrease. The board needs more for capital projects, particularly in light of the emergencies. TJ sewage, homelessness, and immigrant border security, for which state and federal money probably won't be forthcoming since both are broke. It would also be good to have reserves in general funds so they can be allocated more flexibly to where needed, and cut down on contingency fees to contractors and PLAs, project labor agreements, which shut out most non-union contractors, I think about 90%, and also, by the way, costs a lot more. It sounds like you cut the DA's budget without adequate discussion, too. That is not good. I mean, you know, we need a good defense against criminals. The crime rate seems to be increasing dramatically. And the DA is, you know, she's been doing a good job. Equity and equality, by the way, are different concepts. Equity is more like separate but equal. Equality includes everyone. Please quit scamming us with equity stuff. And I remind you that public comments need to be before or during the meeting, not after. Thank you.
Thank you. Now hear from the next caller.
Good morning. My name is Corey Austin. I serve as the CEO for Center for Community Solutions, where we provide essential services for victims of sexual assault and domestic violence, touching approximately 13,000 San Diego residents each year. I'm logged in today to speak to the importance of retaining funding for the District Attorney's Office. Our partnership with the San Diego DA's office is critical for ensuring immediate safety and preparing victims for healing. At CCS, our advocates cross-refer and triage cases with the DA attorneys and victim witness advocates daily and rely on their services to keep us informed on criminal cases and provide victim compensation when needed. One way we're coming together is through the coordination of high-risk teams across the county, where we offer timely interdisciplinary strategy sessions for the most lethal domestic violence cases. San Diego County's model of high-risk teams is nationally recognized and noticed as a best practice model. It has no doubt saved lives. Also, our partnership with One Safe Place ensures a variety of wraparound resources for survivors in North County, an area that's historically been known for a lack of access. One Safe Place has changed that. We know that sexual assault and relationship abuse impacts people differently. Therefore, a coordinated yet wide-reaching safety net is critical, and that's accomplished there. Further, this coming year, the entire continuum of care for victims of crime that we've worked so hard to build in San Diego is at risk due to federal cuts. This is likely to reduce victim services across the board and have a devastating long-term impact on survivors. The DA's office is a critical backbone for this continuum for survivor services, but they need funding in order to do this life-saving work. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Now hear from the next caller.
Hello, I'm Ido Gele, and today I speak in the heart of our communities. As program manager at the National Conflict Resolution Center and former member of the leadership team for the contract NCIC has with the District Attorney's Juvenile Diversion Initiative, I've seen the critical importance of investing in our justice system. The proposed $18 million budget cut to the DA's office isn't just about numbers, it's about the safety and well-being of our communities and the 3.3 million residents they serve. These funds aren't luxuries, they're necessary for holding offenders accountable, supporting victims, preventing crime, and reducing recidivism. I've worked firsthand with youth to divert them from harmful paths, and I've seen the positive impact of these programs. Cutting resources now would not only undermine our progress, but also jeopardize the safety of our communities. We cannot afford to sacrifice the safety and security of our communities for the sake of budgetary constraints. Instead, we must come together to oppose this and ensure that the DA's office is funded. I urge the supervisors to consider the human cost of this decision and thank them for their time and consideration.
Thank you. Now hear from the next caller.
Good morning. My name is Jody Francisco, and I'm a San Diego resident of District 4 and a part of the Community Impact Team representing the American Heart Association of San Diego. I'm calling to highlight the need for investment in nutrition security measures like produce prescriptions. Unfortunately, during the community survey process, food and nutrition security was omitted from the priority ranking list, and it seems to be an oversight. Today, nutrition insecurity in San Diego County remains more prevalent than it was pre-pandemic, with nearly 1 in 4 residents unable to access or afford the food they need to lead a healthy life. Produce prescription programs are critical to improving health equity and bolstering our local economy. And with food prices out of reach for many, local families are struggling to purchase healthy food. This is no time to shy away from supporting healthy food access in our community. We encourage the county to commit more funding to a produce prescription program like Mas Fresco Plus, which helps the most under-resourced and vulnerable residents access fresh fruits and vegetables, while also supporting local farmers and other small businesses. Without continued investment, the program will cease to exist beyond 2024. Mas Fresco Plus has been successfully improving nutrition security, keeping diet-related chronic diseases in check, and promoting local economy growth across the county with the ARPA funding, but needs additional funding to continue to support the community. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Now hear from the next caller.
Good morning. I'm Kathleen Lippitt. I'm a public health promotion advocate, and policy researchers such as myself recognize the need to adopt policies that are cost-effective, sustainable, and protect the public. Of all the county's departments that deserve more funding, not less, it is the district attorney's office. It is incomprehensible that the one department that is the most efficient, equitable, and appreciated across the board by nearly every resident in the county is that office. Summer Steffens has done a remarkable job. Her background, she actually prevailed over a Soros-promoted candidate. That's unheard of, and we all know what Soros-promoted DAs have done, and it is the exact opposite of what communities want. They want people held accountable. They want to not have rampant crime. Summer Steffen has done amazing work. She has her programs. She has fulfilled her commitments to test every rape kit with over 2,000 rape kits tested. Her office tripled prosecutions of hate crimes and doubled down on the prosecution's deadly fentanyl dealers. We don't have anyone who is as objective as this woman is. She is brilliant, and she's fair, and people generally, the most obvious question they ask her for some reason is she a Republican or a Democrat? They don't know. I can tell you that that is not the case with any other elected official who is supposed to be objective. They are not supposed to be representing any particular party, but she is independent, and every action that she takes shows how she is independent.
Thank you. Now hear from the next caller.
Consuelo. Okay, so all these items and presentations, the people get 2 minutes. So that really goes to show you that this chair and board does not care about the people's input. Let's see, $3 billion. Wow. That is a lot of money, and only a fraction of our county's people know about this. I mean, you guys should advertise this on every local news media outlet. Let's see. Oh, reminder to Summer Steffens, DA. I mean, gosh, I got to tell you, Margaret Thatcher said it. When the state does everything for you, it will soon take everything from you. And gosh, that is proof. But I'm pretty sure you'll get some of what you're asking for. Let's see. The budget to help Ukrainians. Yes. Oh gosh, here we go. Let's just help everybody except for the hard-working people who have, earned being here and given all to this government, and they're eating out of trash cans. Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's help the people who are coming across illegally, already doing horrific things. Yeah, but forget our natives. Let's forget our veterans. Let's forget our hardworking single parents, living out of their cars. Let's just forget about all them. And gosh, echo to everything that Jim mentioned. Oh God, thank you so much. That was epic, brother. Shit, I hope that goes on the news. It won't. What else? Yeah, just more propaganda.
Thank you. Now hear from the next caller.
This is Truth, one of the nearly 3.3 million wonderfully diverse residents of the county. Monica, thanks for asking so many questions about the budget. Sarah, your write-up says you couldn't do this without meeting people in communities and online, but nothing about hearing from people in these meetings. And yet somehow we have the largest budget for the largest circus ever. Over $8.4 billion with 640 pages means each page of the budget costs over $13 million. The summary asks, where does funding come from? The answer, every person that pays taxes. I'd like the county to quit trying to allegedly end homelessness and increasing housing affordability, because you guys are actually increasing homelessness and decreasing housing affordability. So to answer Nora's silent question, do the programs, projects, plans, and investments help to reduce the disparities? No, they cause them. And so to DA Summer, unrelated to Tuesday, I actually want to thank you for starting to speak out more for victims against the perpetrators the state and the county has been enabling. But maybe that's why her budget was cut by $18 million. Shame on you guys for that. Summer may not say it, but I will. Transfer crazy Bergman's behavioral health beast has wasted $1.1 billion to the DA's office instead. And no to all EV charging stations and other lithium-based infrastructure, because they are constantly catching fire, emitting toxic fumes with non-recyclable batteries, increasing the safety budget, destroying the environment, and costing firefighters their lives. I would like the county to instead denounce and ban all EVs. That would send a comprehensive and robust message that you supervisors truly care about equity, sustainability, inclusion, transparency, data-driven, evidence-based, people-centered decisions that promote safety for all while ensuring environmental protection of our planet. Lastly, because you guys listen to 6 hours of absolute robotic nonsense with zero public comment relief, I actually think you guys are way too crazy to be making any budget decisions. This board creates systemic inequities. Fix yourselves first, and let's talk.
Thank you. Now hear from the next caller.
Good afternoon, members of the board. My name is Megan Stewart, and as a public health advocate, I would like to urge caution regarding the expansion of marijuana businesses and commercialization within our county, and especially against using the budget to do so. Recent evidence underscores the alarming risks associated with high-potency marijuana, particularly concerning its potential to induce severe and long-lasting psychiatric disorders. Last month, NBC News shed light on the tragic case of Anders Gilliland, a 17-year-old boy whose life was tragically cut short due to marijuana-induced psychosis. Anders, like many others, fell victim to the escalating potency of marijuana, experiencing delusions and hallucinations that led to his untimely death. His story serves as a poignant reminder of the grave consequences of unchecked marijuana consumption, especially among our youth. Studies from Denmark, Britain, and beyond reveal a concerning correlation between heavy marijuana use and debilitating psychiatric conditions such as schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, and depression. The psychoactive component in marijuana, THC, has been steadily increasing in potency, specifically in commercial settings. This heightened potency not only increases the likelihood of psychosis, but also increases the risk of addiction in our community. The commercialization of high-potency marijuana poses a clear and present danger to our community, particularly to vulnerable populations such as teenagers and young adults. The dose-dependent nature of THC underscores the urgent need for stricter regulations to mitigate the proliferation of potent marijuana products and marijuana products marketed towards children. While some may argue for the economic benefits of embracing the marijuana industry, we must not prioritize profit over public health. The well-being of our citizens, especially our youth, must remain paramount in the decision-making process. I encourage the board to prioritize evidence-based policies that safeguard the mental health and well-being of our community. Thank you so much for your time and commitment.
Thank you. Now hear from the next caller.
That person uses the name Audra. Yeah, it's $8.48 billion. You guys love your budget. And it's just so interesting to see how much the federal government has thrown at this illegal invasion, $500 billion last year, right? So the federal government gave the facilitation of the illegal immigration into our county for more than your whole budget is for a year. Think about that. And it's so sad to think that you're going to be taking the money that FEMA has delegated to you out of the county money and give it towards this, all while our communities suffer. And it's interesting because you want to act like all these people are seeking asylum. Well, how can I have found a military dog tag from a Muslim soldier that dropped it at the border wall? This is a national security risk that you guys are engaging in. You should be defunding that immediately, because you're putting our nation and everybody in the county at a risk. We've already had a 5-year-old be raped, and you guys don't seem to care. And all we do is throw more and more money at it. Nothing gets taken from there. More money gets thrown at it. All while money gets taken from other things, and we have to, shift money around. So it's sad to see that you guys are complicit in the destruction of our nation and the rape of children. And you act like we need more of it. Let's get more of it. Let's bring in more people. You're xenophobic if you don't want to do that. Well, then why are these people dropping off their IDs as well, right? If they're seeking asylum, that should be a concern when you have all these people and then coming in boats, right? But it's like, oh, no, they're just seeking refuge. They aren't. And to have foreign soldiers on our soil and you guys to be complicit in that and doing nothing to stop it, that means you're complicit in the rape of that child and anything else that continues to happen because you want to fund more and more of it. And you want to get engaged with all these NGOs that are doing it, and it goes into their pockets, just like SBCS got $2 million to go to employees.
And Chairwoman Vargas, that concludes public comment on the group budget presentations. We'll now turn it over to our Interim Chief Administrative Officer, Sarah Gossi, for some closing remarks.
Thank you, Andrew. My heartfelt thanks to our presenters on Tuesday and this morning, and to our One County team for coming together to develop a budget proposal that aligns services to the needs of our community while maintaining fiscal stability. I also want to express my appreciation for the strong partnership with the elected members of our county team, including the district attorney, sheriff, assessor, recorder, county clerk, and treasurer tax collector. As I mentioned in my opening remarks on Tuesday, we are a work in progress, and there will always be more to do in our forward movement toward more equitable and sustainable programs, policies, and services. And my change letter will provide an opportunity for greater alignment. Community input and engagement is essential, and I want to express my gratitude to the community members who have shared their priorities that have helped shape our recommended budget. And as we proceed through our budget process, there are more opportunities for our community members to ask questions and share thoughts about the budget. I invite everyone interested to participate. We will hold 2 community budget meetings on May 23rd and May 29th, and an evening Board of Supervisors budget hearing on June 13th. Additional information on these meetings and how to provide feedback are available on our county website. Together, we are strengthening our communities and creating a better region, a place we don't just call home, but one where every one of us can truly be at home. Chairwoman Vargas and members of the board, this concludes our 2024-25 proposed budget presentation.
Thank you. On behalf of Chairwoman Vargas, I'll read her closing remarks as they're coming up on the screen. Thank you to our county team for their due diligence and in-depth analysis and presentation of our proposed 24-25 budget. This $8.5 billion budget represents an increase of $400 million from last fiscal year, the largest budget that has ever been proposed. I'm cautiously optimistic in presenting our community with a budget that makes significant investments to build community infrastructure, address our cross-border pollution crisis, maintain critical services, support mental and behavioral health services, and increase staffing to support important programs and county operations, to name a few. Our county team tackled the county budget with great commitment and consideration for the needs of our San Diego communities and workforce. I have a deep appreciation for how our county has integrated a focus on community infrastructure, health and education, economic prosperity, and climate and environmental justice. I'm very proud and grateful for our county staff for their use of the budget equity assessment tool, which I proudly championed in developing the financial forecast for this budget. This is our 3rd year using this assessment for our budget equity journey, and it has greatly evolved since then. The budget equity assessment tool helps departments identify how requests are advancing equity for the most impacted and historically marginalized communities, understand and address unintended consequences, engage both internal and external community members, and emphasize measurements and accountability. Using tools such as this and prioritizing community meetings and engagement is a crucial step towards transparency and creating a budget process that works for all of us. However, I want to remind us that this is only a tool that we are using for aiding our strategic initiatives. These presentations are our first step. It is crucial that every voice be heard to adopt a budget that truly reflects our community's values and addresses our region's most pressing issues, and we want to hear from you. It is vital to me that as we review this budget, we hear from our communities, and there will be various ways for our community to engage, so please do so. It is critical that as we allocate resources, we are investing in programs, projects, and plans that help reduce disparities to create a budget that helps us build stronger and healthier communities. As we look at where this budget is headed for the future, I want to express my commitment to continue to make decisions with equity at the center of our budget process, and always keeping our community at the forefront. Thank you again to our CAO and our county team. Before the board wraps up, I would like to note that there are several opportunities for the public to comment on the recommended operational plan, as the interim chief administrative officer indicated, as well as Chairwoman Vargas. Members of the public may provide written comments on the budget. To comment online on the budget, please visit the county's website at www.sandiegocounty.gov/budget. Additionally, the Board of Supervisors will formally begin the budget hearing process on Tuesday, June 4th, 2024 at 9 a.m. when the board will receive public testimony on all areas of the budget. A second budget hearing is also scheduled for Thursday, June 6th, 2024 at 5:30 p.m. Budget deliberations and adoption are scheduled for Tuesday, June 25th, 2024 at 9 a.m. And the next regular meeting of the board will take place on Tuesday, May 24th, 2024 at 9 a.m. On behalf of Chairwoman Vargas, that concludes this meeting.